How an ancient civilization predicted modern science throughout history. Humanity has looked to the stars, the earth, and the mysteries of nature to find meaning and understanding. What if I told you that thousands of years ago, an ancient civilization had already discovered principles of modern science long before we had the technology to prove them? This isn't mythology or speculation. It's a remarkable testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors. From astronomy to medicine, from engineering to mathematics, ancient civilizations possessed knowledge that would later be confirmed by modern science. Their insights, often dismissed as mere philosophy or superstition, were in fact early understandings of the natural world that continue to astonish scholars today. One of the most remarkable examples of this ancient foresight comes from the Sumerians, the first known civilization in Mesopotamia, dating back to around 3100 BCE. The Sumerians were the first to develop a written language, but they were also pioneering astronomers. Using simple tools, they mapped celestial bodies with incredible precision. They divided the sky into constellations and identified the movement of planets, something that would not be fully understood until thousands of years later. The Babylonians, who followed the Sumerians, took their knowledge even further, creating the first recorded star catalogues. Their understanding of planetary motion laid the foundation for what would later become the heliocentric model of the solar system. But it wasn't just the Mesopotamians who exhibited extraordinary scientific understanding. The ancient Egyptians, known for their awe-inspiring pyramids, had advanced knowledge of engineering and mathematics that rivals even today's standards. The construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza, built over 4,500 years ago, still puzzles modern engineers. The precise alignment of the pyramids with the cardinal directions and certain celestial bodies suggests that Egyptian architects had a deep understanding of astronomy. Even more astonishing is the use of what we now call the Pythagorean theorem over 1,000 years before Pythagoras himself would define it in Greece. The Egyptians used a mathematical system based on unit fractions, which enabled them to perform complex calculations for construction, land surveying, and even predicting the annual flooding of the Nile. Meanwhile, in India, ancient sages were developing scientific concepts that would later form the foundation of modern physics. The Vedic texts, dating as far back as 1500 BCE, describe ideas that bear a striking resemblance to atomic theory. The Indian philosopher Kanada, who lived around the 6th century BCE, proposed that all matter was made up of indivisible particles, or paramanu, which foreshadowed the modern concept of the atom. His ideas, found in the Vaisheshika school of philosophy, outlined the principles of motion, inertia, and even the idea that different types of particles form different substances, ideas that closely parallel discoveries made in quantum mechanics over 2,000 years later. Even more surprising is the scientific accuracy found in ancient Indian texts regarding astronomy. The Surya Siddhanta, an ancient Sanskrit text on astronomy composed at least 1,500 years ago, contains calculations of the Earth's circumference that are shockingly close to modern measurements. The text suggests that the Earth is a sphere, rotates on its axis, and orbits the Sun, a model that wouldn't be fully accepted in the West until Copernicus and Galileo revolutionized European astronomy in the 16th and 17th centuries. It also contains precise measurements of the sidereal year and planetary orbits, which were confirmed only in recent centuries with the advent of modern telescopes. While ancient Indian sages were contemplating atomic theory and heliocentrism, the ancient Greeks were making profound strides in the understanding of human biology. Hippocrates, often called the father of medicine, laid down the foundations of clinical observation and diagnosis. His approach to medicine, focusing on the body as a system governed by natural laws rather than supernatural forces, became the basis of modern medical science. The Greeks also developed early understandings of anatomy through dissection, something that would not be widely practiced again until the Renaissance. The Greeks, however, were not the only ones making incredible discoveries about the human body. In China, around the same period, ancient physicians were developing an understanding of circulation and metabolism that was far ahead of its time. Traditional Chinese medicine, with its focus on the balance of forces within the body, may not be modern science in the conventional sense, but many of its principles have been validated by contemporary research. Acupuncture, for example, which was practiced as early as 100 BCE, has been found to have physiological effects that align with our understanding of the nervous system and pain management. Moreover, Chinese texts describe concepts similar to the immune system, recognizing the body's ability to fight off disease long before Western medicine formally documented it. Perhaps the most mind-boggling example of ancient scientific foresight comes from the Mayan civilization of Central America. The Mayans, renowned for their advanced calendar systems and astronomical knowledge, made incredibly precise calculations of celestial events. They could predict solar eclipses with astonishing accuracy, despite lacking telescopes or modern computing technology. Their ability to track Venus and other planets was so advanced that some of their calculations were more precise than those made by European astronomers centuries later. The Mayan long count calendar, which famously gained attention in 2012, is based on mathematical cycles that eerily align with cosmic patterns recognized by modern astrophysicists. In South America, the Inca civilization engineered vast and sophisticated agricultural terraces and irrigation systems that allowed them to farm in the harsh Andean mountains. Recent studies have shown that their agricultural techniques were not just impressive for their time, but are still more sustainable than many modern farming methods. The Incas understood crop rotation, soil conservation, and even the effects of altitude on plant growth in ways that scientists are only now beginning to fully appreciate. They also developed an extensive road network spanning over 25,000 miles without the use of wheels, an engineering marvel that rivals the Roman Empire's famous roads. One of the most fascinating aspects of these ancient scientific discoveries is the question, how did they know? Without telescopes, microscopes, or modern mathematical tools, how did they make such precise calculations and observations? While some believe that ancient people had an innate connection to nature that we have since lost, others argue that their methods were simply a product of careful observation, logical deduction, and trial and error experimentation, much like modern science itself. These civilizations may not have had laboratories or formal scientific institutions, but their systematic approaches to understanding the world around them were, in many ways, the precursors to the scientific method we use today. So what can we learn from the astonishing achievements of these ancient civilizations? First, they remind us that human intelligence and curiosity have always been boundless. Despite lacking modern tools, our ancestors were capable of scientific insights that would take thousands of years to confirm. Their discoveries prove that knowledge is not confined to any one era, but is part of a continuum and ongoing journey of learning and rediscovery. Second, these civilizations remind us of the importance of humility. Just as we look back and marvel at their foresight, it's likely that future generations will one day look back at us and wonder how we could have missed discoveries that seem obvious to them. From the Sumerians' early astronomy to the Egyptians' engineering marvels, from the Indian sages' atomic theories to the Mayan celestial calculations, the scientific legacy of ancient civilizations continues to inspire us. They were not primitive societies fumbling in the dark, they were brilliant minds pushing the boundaries of knowledge with the tools they had. Their insights shape the world we live in today, proving that the pursuit of knowledge is one of humanity's greatest and most enduring quests.